Welcome, everyone, down to the Jankyard. It's JT. It's time for a little fun. It's time for a deck tech. And this is one I've had some fun with, both on Arena and in paper. It's a cool little deck that if you like playing red and blue and playing lots of spells, instant sorceries, bang, 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 and then copy and boom, 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 and doing all that, then you'll like it. It's called Caught in the Storm, and it focuses around one specific card, Thousand Year Storm. I'll tell you, when I saw this, when it was first spoiled in guilds, I thought, ooh, that's just so ridiculous and stupid. We have to play with it at some point. Got to find a way. And it's taken me some time, but I've pulled this together. I like this deck. It's fun. Let's take a quick look at what we have here for Caught in the Storm. We'll start with Opt. 4 Opts, just because I feel like being difficult, and I know it probably I like it. I want to play different ones, but also probably tilt some people. I have 2 different kinds of Opt in here. I really should get my Teferi Opt, because I prefer that over the ugly Pirate Opt. But Opt, 1 mana. Scry and draw a card. Fantastic card. Always will be. Shock. Also, fantastic card. Always will be. Do 2 damage to any target for 1 red mana. Now, this is the guy that really helps us pull off the Thousand Year Storm. Because let's back up a little bit. Thousand Year Storm, what it does, if you don't remember, and I don't blame you if you don't, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast before it this turn, and you may choose new targets for the copies. So you need to be able to cast 2, 3, if you're lucky 4. I've gone up to 3. Instants and sorceries in 1 turn. And that's eventually you're going to run low on mana because you still have to pay the regular mana cost. So having the Goblin Electromancer giving you a discount on most of your instants and sorceries. It doesn't give you a discount on Opt or Shock because they have no generic mana. It's only cuts 1 generic mana off. But for virtually every other card, you get a discount. So the Goblin Electromancer is great, and he also allows you to get in for some extra beats. I was able to finish off 1 game because I think I used expansion to copy a Ral's Outburst, and yeah, so what I did was my opponent was at 14. I played Risk Factor. They took the 4, and when they did that, I'm like, okay, I've got you. I had 2 Goblin Electromancers out, so I was able to. I also had Thousand Year Storm, so I played Ral's Outburst. Well, it did its double trigger because of the Thousand Year Storm. So instead of hitting my opponent for 3, it hit him for 6. So he went from 4. He was at 14. He went down to 10 because of the Risk Factor. Then the 2 Ral's Outburst knocked him down to 4, and I had the 2 Goblin Electromancers. Swung in 10 the game. So it's a valuable card, and definitely one you need in this deck. Another one is Light Up the Stage, because you need to refill your hand. You want to play multiple spells on a turn, so you need to be refilling your hand, and Light Up the Stage is a good way to do it. Another good way to do it is Risk Factor, because I like this card, because either your opponent is just going to take 4 to the face, which I don't mind. You're trying, for the most part, to get your opponent down with hitting them in the face with spells, or they're going to let you draw 3 cards. Okay. And if you do this with Thousand Year Storm, and you cast it so it's got hits for twice, I mean, they might take 4 and you get 3. Or they take 8. Or you get 6. All fantastic. So, great card. Skewer the Critics, solid one. Sometimes you'd pay the full freight, and 3 damage for 3 mana is, it's not great. But if you've got a Shock, or you hit him with the Risk Factor or something, and you can pay that 1 mana Spectacle cost, then that's great. And if you're able to copy that spell, do it multiple times again, and change targets, you can do a number on your opponent's board. Raw Storm Conduit. This is another way to copy spells. Firstly, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, it deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So with Thousand Year Storm going off, it's great. But also, I mean, the Scry one is nice, and the +2 gets it up to 6, which makes it harder to kill. But that -2, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So now you're doing copy, and if you've got Thousand Year Storm copying, or expansion also to copy, things can get crazy pretty fast. And so that's why I really like Raul. He's a solid walker. Because he's a legendary walker, I'm sticking at 3, but he's solid. I like him. Raul's Outburst. Here we go. This is just a great card. I really like Raul's Outburst a lot. Especially if the Electromancer can cut the cost on it. Deal 3 damage to any target, then look at top 2 cards of your library and put one of them in your hand, one into your graveyard. It's refilling your hand. You're getting more stuff, so you can just keep chugging along. I think it's excellent. And that's why it's a 4 of in this deck. I prefer to cast it for 3, sometimes even 2, if we've got the old double Electromancer, but regardless, it's great. And if you can copy it with Storm or the Raw Storm Conduit or Expansion, it's excellent. Niv Mizzet is just a 1 of. It's a 6-mana creature. That's a lot. But it's a lot of fun. I like Niv Mizzet because if they can't kill it, there's a lot of eventuality of just that, okay, draw a card, deal 1 damage. And you have Opt, and you have not light up stage, but risk factor. You might be drawing a lot of cards and just start pinging them down. You're shooting down their creatures, or you're shooting down them. It's great. And plus, you're playing a lot of instants and sorceries in this deck, so you get to draw a lot of cards. 3 of Thousand Year Storm. This is the focal point of the deck, but you don't have to have it. Raul Storm Conduit does similar, so does Expansion. But when it starts going off, it can be impressive. It's hard to get it out. 6 mana is tough, but it's a lot of fun. Expansion. Copy target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. You may choose new targets for this copy. Simple, effective, destructive. Explosion. Explosion deals X damage to any target. Target player deals X cards. And I know there is a loop with it in Raul Storm Conduit. I believe it just gets silly. But regardless, you can use Explosion. Copying it, not so good because of actually, yeah, I gotta look into that. But not so worried about that. But Expansion, and you play Expansion with Thousand Year Storm, and you get to copy a spell you're copying twice. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. We got Castle Vantress, Islands, 8 Mountains. It's predominantly red deck. 4 Steamrents, Swiftwater Cliffs because gaining life's not a bad thing, and Temple of Epiphany because we like seeing what we got. So that's the main. And now we talk about the sideboard. Now you have to transform things to deal with the issues you're dealing with. Lava Coil, first up. Especially the cat. The Cauldron Familiar, you got to exile that thing. So, yeah, definitely, if you can. You need to be in a situation where they don't have any way to sacrifice it. It's a very difficult little 1/1 to get rid of. But if you can, then Lava Coil is very valuable. Flame Sweep. Again, if they've got a bunch of small creatures and you need to clean up the board, then it's a good thing to bring in. Saheeli is fun to bring in if you need some blockers or you just need more creatures out, servos. And then that -2, you can take a servo and make it a copy of another creature. Maybe a Goblin Electromancer. That's fun. That's fun to do. 1 God Eternal Kefnet. Yeah, I like God Eternal Kefnet. If you feel you need to bring in more creatures, it's a solid thing to bring in. This is one I'm not so sure about yet. I've put it in because it's cute. And again, it's about copying spells. This time, this one copied spells twice. Or abilities, so you could do the ability on the Raw Walker twice, but it's fun. But we haven't really done it much. Crackling Drake again. If you need creatures, this is the perfect guy to bring in. Sometimes you just gotta kill something. I haven't played this much. It's expensive, but if you could do this and especially copy it, you might have an opponent at 12 life that you could kill if you can copy it and do 12 damage to them. And Finale of Promise. Again, I mean, if you can get X of 10, and that's really, really hard, but if you can copy the spells twice and choose new targets for them. But ultimately, if you can't do that, you still get to cast up to one target instant card and up to one target sorcery from your graveyard, each with converted mana cost X or less, without paying their mana cost. That's solid. That's just more engine. And if you've got a 1,000-Year Storm, copy and copy and copy. It just keeps going because you are casting them from your graveyard. So, all in all, a lot of fun. It's a solid deck. It can be slow. Aggro decks will do a number on it. Like I said, I've played it in a paper competitive tournament, and I actually had a rough day. I'll be honest. But I've played on Arena, and it's been strong. And you're not always, that 1,000-Year Storm isn't always there, and sometimes you're siding one or two copies of it out because you need to go quicker. You need the Lava Coils and the Flame Sweeps, and that's okay because there's other ways to copy. There's other ways to get in for value, get in for damage. And you're sometimes winning, and the 1,000-Year Storm is not the reason you're winning, and that's okay. But ultimately, it's a lot of fun. I do adore this deck, especially 1,000-Year Storm. Because an opponent sees a storm, especially if they thought Erasure you on turn 2. I did at one opponent in my paper tournament, and he was used to me playing different kinds of decks, and he thought Erasure's me, just like, Storm? You're playing Storm? It's kind of fun. So that is Caught in the Storm in a nutshell. We have some gameplay video, which will go up soon, and you can see how the deck comes together. So I just want to thank you for checking this deck tech out. We've got lots more to come. Check our other deck techs out on our YouTube channel right here at Jankyard MTG. Also, I'm streaming at least twice a week. Twitch.tv/JankyardMTG, and sometimes other days of the week, and you can find out when we're going live on our social media at JankyardMTG on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As well, you can check out our website, jankyardmtg.com, which would be the site for a lot of stuff. As we get the website rolling, we're still in early days, but as we get it rolling more, including that will be our new Patreon program, so you can help support the Jankyard and keep us rolling. So, once again, I've been JT. This has been Caught in the Storm. I hope you enjoyed it. And just ask you to, real quick, like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we look forward to seeing you again.